Welcome back to the 2023 Rock and Roll Denim NFR pre-show podcast. I'm your host, Dale Brisby, your mom's favorite bull rider and Joe Rogan's best friend, the world's greatest of all time and the most humble. And we're going to go into some stories of some of these contestants that are going to be competing at the National Finals Rodeo. And when they compete, they're going to be wearing, you guessed it, rock and roll denim. How'd you do at the CNFR?
Oh, I think I ended up third in the average, second overall.
You get on 5 horses?
Six in 5 days, yeah. Twice on Saturday.
Dang.
It's always the E-pin and the easy ones that day for us.
Out of those 6, how many? I mean, is pretty much everything up there going to be something that's going to be at the NFR?
Pretty much. Like, you got your heavy hitters up there, like Virgil and, Disco Party and Yippee Kibids, all them good ones up there. So we got a bunch of them coming down south, so it's a nice little tune-up for Vegas.
Do they take U.S. Horses up there?
No, it's a Canadian run deal only, for sure.
Well, that's a little unfair.
A little racist, maybe.
We bring y'all down here.
Oh yeah, I know. We're a little selfish in that regard, maybe.
Oh well.
Well,
you're nice enough. You Canadians are nice enough. It makes up for it. Maybe that's why it was a surprise to me, because you guys are just so dang nice.
It's the Trojan's horse, right?
It's the Trojan's horse, exactly. So how long you been with rock and roll?
No, since 2019, I guess.
Yeah.
So what was that, 5-6 years or so? Yeah.
And you're going into your 9th NFR?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Dang, that's a lot of them. Snuck up on you, huh?
Oh boy, does it ever. Yeah, I'm one of the old boys in there.
Yeah, I hear there's a lot of rookies in the bareback riding.
Mm-hmm. They're a good group of guys.
5 of them.
There's 5 of them, and I think the bareback riding needed it a little bit. It's made me ride better because I didn't have any other choice.
Right.
It was either that or get beat out by a bunch of little kids. So we didn't.
That's
want
encouraging for the event.
Oh, it's been so fun, unbelievably fun this year for me.
Are you seeing a lot of even younger than them coming up, like permit holders and college kids that, I mean, how do you feel about bareback riding in general compared to the last few years?
I think since the last 5 years, we got a pretty good band of brothers coming up.
Really?
I think you'll see these rookies that we got this year, and there's even more coming up through the college ranks that are riding lights out. And it's making the sport of bareback riding so much more fun to watch and so much funner to compete.
Yeah.
Because you have to do well, and you have to work. I mean, I have to work twice as hard. I'm not 24 anymore.
Yeah.
And, these little kids are just wolfy bareback riders, and it's so awesome to see.
How old are you?
32.
Yep.
So.
Still young.
Haven't hit my prime yet. Coffee's not hot yet.
Still young. Yeah. I can't remember who I was talking to the other day where we were talking about, like normal retirement age is, Robert Mims. He's a bull rider and from Texas, and he's 60, still getting on bulls at some of those old man's deals.
Uh-huh.
And we were talking about, like normal retirement age for a rodeo cowboy, like if you're late 30s, that's not, common.
No, that's doing it.
Yeah.
As far as a bareback rider, the best sayings I've heard in quite a while was, growing old's mandatory, growing up ain't.
Yeah.
So I think if you can get your mind right to where you can kind of feel young in an old man's kind of sport, if you get to 34, 36, that's kind of been my goal to get to, or even see if I can surpass it. But I'm not going to be 60 years old getting on bucking horses.
No.
I don't see me doing that.
No. And, if you think about, I guess part of the short-lived rodeo career would be, if you think about football, for instance, I went on a podcast of an NFL guy and Derek Wolf the other day, and he played for the Broncos for 10 years. But you don't get started in the pros till you're in your 20s, because you go 4 years of college football. So you might be 21 at the youngest, you know, whenever you're in the league, or 22, 23 probably. And, you know, once you hit 30, people are thinking of you as an older, you know, football player. Well, that's only 7 years. And I feel like that's really similar with rodeo. Like by the time you get to the spot where like, okay, you're going to make money professionally in the sport of rodeo, average, you've got 5-6 years before, maybe not even get old, but life happens.
Oh,
you know,
for sure.
Because you'll have kids and life slows you down going down the road.
Oh, for sure. And, you know, they mostly in the rodeo world, we could jump into the pros at 18, 19 years old. We don't have that few years to condition ourselves for the pros. Yeah, we go to college rodeos and whatever, but there's nothing holding us back to say we can't go to the pros. So, you know, my timeline as far as that regard, I spent 5 years going broke trying to make it work. And then 2014, 15, you know, things started kind of happening for me, but it's a little different in the NFL spotlight in that regard, where you can just jump in at 18 and then you're just kind of figuring it out if you're in my position. But yeah, no, once you get to, you know, your 30s, people keep asking you, how old are you? They keep asking me, well, how long are you going to do this?
Wait a second,
like,
you've been here a while.
Like, hey, I'll decide that. I'll let you know.
Yeah, I'll tell you when I'm too old.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. We were talking to some of these other guys about things that they're getting ready to do, getting ready for the NFR. What kind of deals are you doing in November to get ready for the big show?
Well, just like we said earlier, just got done with Canadian finals, so that was 6 head of really good practice, so to speak. And then I'll go to a practice pen, probably in a couple weeks, hopefully at the Frontier Ranch, and just kind of freshen myself up, and then just conditioning and training, just kind of your basics things through, you know, same thing that all these bareback riders are doing. It's more so conditioning, mobility, and flexibility for me. And then just kind of work on my mental game as far as, I guess, looking at videos of all the great guys that I've always looked up to in the past, like Wardell. Kelly Wardell was a big influence on me, same with Cody Demers. So I go back and look through their tapes and kind of put myself in that environment as far as at the NFR, because it seems it's the same every year, but there's little changes every year. So I like to kind of submerge myself mentally and kind of prepare myself in that aspect.
Yeah. Yeah, one thing I was thinking of a while ago whenever we were talking about football, the biggest difference, and you kind of touched on it, was, you know, you'd get to decide when you go in there, and you get to decide when you become a pro and what you're going to do. I had an intern come to me. He had planned on going to a rodeo this weekend and got a little banged up getting on practice bulls. We went to JB's, and he, you know, got stepped on, and he was like, man, it's early in the season. I'm thinking about not going, but it was like bothering him. And he was like, I know there's going to come a time when I just got to go to all the, and I was like, whoa. Like, rodeo, you are your own, you're the GM, you're the coach, you're the trainer, you're all of it. Like, you're the contestant. And I was like, if you don't want to go, don't go. Yeah, there may be a time when you need to push the gas, but you get to decide that. You have to decide that. And there's not necessarily a very strict playbook of like, this is what you have to do to get there. You know, you get to decide, and you can follow after guys that come before you. Like, for instance, you mentioned Kelly Wardell, but it's interesting to me to watch how different some of the greats play the game. Like, that's one thing in rodeo. Like, there are some similarities. You get down to the fundamentals of riding a bareback horse. You got to, you know, run your hand in your rigging. It won't come out if you don't open it, whatever. But the point is, or, you know, in bronc riding, like lift and stay back, and bull riding, you got to go to the front. Like, some of those things aren't going to change no matter who you are, but the way that you guys rodeo can be different. And how do you feel like you compare to the rest of the sport? Do you feel like you fall into the same way? Like, is there something different about how you're rodeoing?
Over the years, progressively, yes, 100%. And that's one thing I've really kind of keyed in on as far as not actually being in rodeo is kind of taking a step back and looking at your sport or rodeo as a whole and seeing where is this going, or okay, I'm going to enter these rodeos because this tour rodeo doesn't have enough to make the travel worth it. It's changed the game immensely in a lot of ways, and then not so much in quite a few. It's kind of funny, like with the money going up these last couple of years, like I've rodeoed totally different than I traditionally have, because I've been making the same loops every week, every year. And now with all this money kind of changing and kind of getting dispersed maybe differently, it's changed how I looked at the entry book a lot more.
Really?
And not just that, but like I said, the older I get, the smarter I have to travel for myself to stay at a very competitive skill. One of those things is going to different places I've never been before, because as much as I love going to Dodge City, I've been to Dodge City 15 times.
Yeah.
And I, again, love going to Dodge City, but it's nice going to Great Falls, Montana, where I haven't been there a whole lot. And just to keep your mind fresh like that, it adds a new element of excitement to rodeo.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
You get to a spot in your career where you're just going to strategically go to a different rodeo to change it up.
Just to make it a little bit different, to make it a little more exciting. Because
maybe give yourself an edge.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because, Hermiston week, Hermiston, Lovington, Lawton, Sykeston.
Yeah.
Do that every year. And you switch that up just a little bit without, of course, losing the possibility of more money doing that way, I guess. If you can still gain as much or more financial outcome, I think that has been a huge, huge thing for me.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That's a neat thought to. And then, do you have anybody in your rig with you that is younger?
Cody Lamb. Shouldn't say younger, but he's 28.
Yeah.
Or 30, turning 30. He's right behind me. But as far as kids go, no, it's a couple old boys going down the road.
I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy to think about all the different careers and professions a person can do with their life, and a 28 and a 32-year-old are considered older.
It's almost scary, and that was kind of probably the one things that held me back the most these last couple of years was I didn't want to be known as the old man. Like, don't let the old man in, man in, that mentality. And then I was like, well, father time's not going to slow down for me, so I better just accept it and grab it and do what I can with it. And I've played on the role that I am one of the older guys in that locker room, and that's having that mentality just alleviated so much stress, because I wasn't scared about being the old man. I'm just going to be the old man. I'm going to whip all these other little kids. Yeah.
I was talking to Marcus Luttrell the other day, and he was remembering back to one of his first deployments when he showed up to this base overseas, and there was a guy, whoever was in charge of him, I don't remember what their rank was, but he walked up and he was standing out next to a campfire, and the guy had on, cargo pants and a wife beater and a big old mustache and looked like this hard ass. And he was thinking back to it. And at the time that guy was only 23 or 24.
Oh, really?
And like that was his superior, but it was, and what his point is that it's a young man's game, and he was relating it to rodeo, anyhow, it's an interesting concept, but you, much like Tim, have done a great job at being consistent. And so, going into your 9th NFR, you're getting on 10, that's 90 NFR bucking horses that you will have been on. That's a lot of the top in the world. So whatever you're doing, keep doing it and keep wearing rock and roll denim.
Yeah, might as well, right? It's worked so far.
What's your pair? What's your style of rock and roll denim?
I like the relaxed vintage 49. Yeah.
46. Yeah.
46. Yeah.
The reflex.
Yeah. Those are my go-to for sure.
Me too.
Yeah.
They're great to ride in. Not
They're-
only
yeah.
bucking horses, but ranching.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, those are my riding pants.
Cool.
I dig them.
Do you have a one-liner that you go back to? You know, like a motivational quote. That's what we'll end with. Just anything in particular that has keep you going down the road.
Oh, there's that one saying. It's actually my screensaver on my phone. Hard times create strong men create good times create weak men create hard times.
Yeah.
And that's been, you know, I can look at that quote and see every stages of my year or my life where I've taken things easier and it's gotten harder for me. I've taken the hard times. It's reigned true to me for sure.
That's cool. Well, thank you, Orin Larsen. It's always a pleasure. You're always smiling.
Thanks for having me.
You can't hide it even under that majestic mustache. So we're excited to see you taking it to the NFR again this year.
Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. Go get them.
Will do.
Pow, pow.